Picture this. Tens of thousands of people screaming, stage lights blazing, and BTS at the peak of their performance in Brussels, Belgium. And then, suddenly, in the middle of the roaring music and the army's cheers, everything stops. Not because of a technical issue, not because the power went out, but because one person, Jimin, noticed something no one else did. Somewhere in the crowd, far from most people's line of sight, a fan was in medical distress. And within seconds, Jimin made a decision that left a lot of people, including those who understand the world of emergency response, genuinely impressed. Footage of the moment spread fast around the world. It wasn't just ARMY talking about it. General internet users, health-focused accounts, even people who normally don't follow K-pop at all, jumped in with their thoughts. Why did Jimin's reaction matter so much? What actually happened that night? And why, from a medical standpoint, can those first few seconds of a crisis be the difference between a situation that's handled well and one that spirals out of control? In this video, we're breaking it all down. The full timeline of the incident, the world's reaction, and an explanation of why the first moments of an emergency are so critical, framed the way emergency medical responders typically think about it. If this is your first time on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we'll keep breaking down viral moments like this in an informative and balanced way. Let's get into it. Okay, let's rewind a bit and lay out the timeline clearly, so you understand exactly what happened. This took place during BTS's BTS World Tour Erarang concert in Brussels, Belgium, part of the group's ongoing world tour. The show drew thousands of fans from different countries, many of whom had waited years for this moment, especially considering the members' military service and the emotional, long-awaited comeback that ARMY worldwide had been anticipating. In the middle of the performance, while all eyes were on the stage, one small moment changed the course of the show. Somewhere in the packed crowd, a fan appeared to be in medical distress. Some reports describe it as fainting or extreme exhaustion, a condition that's actually fairly common at large concerts given the combination of dense crowds, high temperatures, and overwhelming emotional energy. What made this moment different is that Jimin noticed. In the middle of synchronized choreography, in the middle of a fast-tempo song, with tens of thousands of faces looking back at him, Jimin somehow managed to catch something wrong happening in the crowd. That's not an easy thing to do. Imagine performing in front of tens of thousands of people, under blinding stage lights, and still being able to zero in on one single face in a sea of people that needed help. According to circulating reports and multiple fan-recorded videos from different angles, as soon as Jimin realized what was happening, he immediately signaled for the performance to pause. He asked security and medical staff to head to the fans' location right away. This wasn't a small decision. Pausing a major concert mid-performance isn't just a logistical hiccup. There's choreography that has to be adjusted, a full band and production crew that has to stop and sync, and thousands of other audience members suddenly left wondering what's going on. But Jimin chose to take that risk anyway, to make sure one person got help as fast as possible. Moments later, once medical staff and security reached the location and the situation appeared to be under control, the concert resumed. The videos circulating online showed Jimin's expression turning noticeably alert and serious, a stark contrast to the cheerful energy he usually radiates on stage. The moment was captured from multiple angles by attendees and quickly uploaded to TikTok, X, and Instagram. Within hours, the clips had racked up millions of views, with hashtags like JiminNoticeArmy and various other variations flooding timelines. Now, let's talk about why this moment earned so much praise, not just from ARMY, but also from people who understand crowd management and emergency response at large-scale events. First, we need to understand the context. A concert with tens of thousands of attendees is a unique environment. There's shifting air pressure, temperatures that can spike dramatically from thousands of bodies packed together, extreme noise levels, flashing lights, and, most importantly, physical density. In conditions like this, incidents like fainting, shortness of breath, or extreme exhaustion happen far more often than most people realize. This isn't unusual in the world of live entertainment. Concerts with tens of thousands capacity across many countries routinely have dedicated medical teams on standby precisely because this kind of risk is very real. This is where the significance of what Jimin did comes in. In an emergency situation like this, the deciding factor usually isn't just whether a medical team is present. It's how quickly information about the incident reaches that medical team. Picture it this way. In a dense, loud crowd, someone who has fainted might not be immediately visible to the people around them, especially when everyone's attention is locked on the stage. Without someone noticing and signaling for help, precious time can be lost before anyone even realizes something is wrong. When a public figure like Jimin, someone in the most visible position, with full control over how the show unfolds, takes the initiative to stop and direct attention to the exact location of the incident, it effectively cuts down response time in a very real, practical way. It's not just the people standing near the fan who become aware. The entire security and medical system at the venue instantly gets a clear signal about exactly where they need to move. This is why a lot of people, including those with a background in medicine or event management, see this reaction as more than just an emotionally sweet gesture made for social media clips. It's genuinely seen as an action with a tangible impact on someone's safety. Now here's the part we really want to dig into. Let's look at this moment through a lens commonly used in emergency medicine, so you understand why a fast response like this carries far more weight than it might seem on the surface. In emergency medicine, there's a concept often referred to as the golden minutes, the early window of time at the start of an emergency where fast, appropriate action can significantly affect the eventual outcome for the person involved. For a case like fainting in a dense crowd, there are a few things medical responders typically prioritize the moment they reach the scene. The first is making sure the person's airway isn't obstructed, especially if they collapsed while wedged in a packed crowd. Crowd density itself can become an additional problem, not just a contributing cause of the initial fainting, but also a physical barrier preventing the person from getting enough room to breathe once they're down. The second is body temperature. In a concert environment with thousands of people packed together, temperatures can spike dramatically, and the combination of overheating, dehydration, and physical exhaustion from standing, jumping, and screaming for extended periods is a classic trigger for fainting, medically known as syncope. The third, and this is the part most relevant to Jimin's moment, is access. A medical team can have the best equipment and training in the world, but if they don't know exactly where to go, or if they're blocked by a crowd that isn't making way for them, their response time ends up being much longer than it needs to be. This is why, in a lot of training around handling emergencies in large crowds, one point that's always emphasized is the importance of the first person to notice, whoever that may be, whether it's staff, another audience member, or even a performer on stage, immediately giving a clear, directed signal. The faster that signal is given, and the clearer the location is pointed out, the faster help can actually reach the right spot. And that's exactly what Jimin did that night. He didn't just notice something was wrong. He immediately took the most effective action available to him from where he stood, pausing the show so that all attention, including that of the security and medical teams, was instantly directed to the right location. From an emergency response standpoint, this is a textbook example of what's often called effective bystander intervention, action taken by someone near the incident who, despite not being a trained medical professional, is able to speed up the help process simply by acting fast and giving a clear signal. A lot of general first aid training actually emphasizes the same principle. You don't have to be a doctor to help save someone's life. What matters most in those first critical seconds is noticing there's a problem, staying calm, and immediately alerting someone capable of handling the situation. That's why many people describe Jimin's action as something more than just a sweet moment for social media content. It's viewed as a real-world example of situational awareness and fast decision-making that, in a genuine emergency, can truly make a meaningful difference. After footage of the incident spread, reactions from various corners of the internet came pouring in, but the overwhelming majority pointed toward one thing: admiration. Across social media, thousands of comments praised Jimin's awareness and composure in making a split-second decision under the pressure of performing live. Many highlighted how he managed to stay focused on a fan's safety, even while at the peak of his own performance moment. Some fans who were physically present at the concert also shared their first-hand experience, describing how the venue's atmosphere shifted in an instant, from full-blown euphoria to a tense, worried silence, before eventually settling back into calm once the fan in distress appeared to stabilize. Interestingly, this moment also reached audiences well beyond BTS's core fanbase. A number of accounts that typically discuss large event safety, crowd management, and even public health topics shared the video as a real-world example of how situational awareness, even from a public figure standing on stage, can have a major impact on other people's safety. Other users pointed to a different angle of the story, a reminder that behind the glitz of the entertainment world and the exhaustion of a global tour, audience safety remains a non-negotiable priority, and that idols of BTS's stature often show a level of responsibility that goes well beyond simply performing on stage. This isn't the first time the world has seen BTS members show concern for their fans' safety mid-concert, either. Throughout the group's career, there have been a handful of similar moments where members paused a performance to make sure audience safety came first. Moments like this only reinforce BTS's image as a group that, beyond their musical achievements and global popularity, is also known for a genuinely strong emotional bond with their fanbase around the world. Beyond the entertainment angle and the admiration for Jimin, there are some real, practical lessons worth taking from this incident, especially if you regularly attend large, densely packed events like concerts, festivals, or sports games. First, it's important to recognize the early warning signs of extreme exhaustion, both in yourself and in the people around you. Things like dizziness, blurred vision, cold sweats, or sudden nausea. If you notice these symptoms in a dense crowd, try to alert the nearest staff member as soon as possible or move toward a less crowded area if you can. Second, if you notice someone near you showing similar signs, don't hesitate to immediately flag it to the nearest security or medical staff. As we covered earlier, how quickly that information gets passed along is often the single biggest factor in how well the situation gets handled. Third, always take note of where the medical stations and evacuation routes are whenever you attend a large event. It might sound like a minor detail, but knowing where the nearest help point is can make a real difference if an emergency actually happens, whether it's for yourself or for someone else nearby. And finally, take care of your own physical condition before heading into a large crowd event. Get enough rest, drink enough water, and know your own limits, especially for shows that run long with a lot of physical activity like jumping and screaming throughout the performance. What Jimin did that night, in the end, isn't just about one fan getting fast medical help. It's also a collective reminder for all of us about the importance of staying aware of each other's safety, especially in the middle of a high-energy, crowded moment where it's easy to get swept up in the excitement and forget to look around. So that's the full timeline and the reasoning behind the moment that shocked the world at BTS's concert in Brussels. From an entertainment standpoint, it's a touching moment that reveals another side of a major idol. But from a more practical standpoint, it's also a real-world example of just how important situational awareness and fast response can be in an emergency, wherever and whenever it happens. What do you think about this moment? Have you ever witnessed or experienced an emergency situation at a large event yourself? Share your experience in the comments. I'll be reading through them. If you found this video helpful and it added something to your understanding, don't forget to like it, share it with a friend, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Thanks for watching all the way through, and see you in the next one.